What's going on, guys? Alex here with 81480C, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the TW Price designed Dawn V2. So this is a review that is a long time coming. I've had this in for, I think, close to 2 months now, and I never did an unboxing video on this. I remember I got it in the mail, like just before I was going away for a weekend to, I think, my fiance's apartment when she was still in college. So I didn't have time to film an unboxing, and I filmed a short on it, but I never did a full unboxing for you guys. So some of you might not even know that I have this, but yeah, this is the Dawn V2, and it is a fantastic knife. I really like this knife, but I love the knife actually, but sometimes it just doesn't give me those like tingles and stuff like that. So I have not yet decided if I'm going to keep it. The thought crossed my mind, which I'll talk about later, to sell it and to, put that money towards, some other stuff, other knives, other scales, stuff like that. But I'm going to talk about that later on, because this knife truly is a beautiful piece. I love the design. It's just a good knife. It's a great knife. It's a fantastic knife. So you're probably saying, Alex, why aren't you going to keep it? And I really don't know. It's just one of those pieces. And I know everyone out there that collects knives has gone through the same thing with me, or as me, and you just have a knife that is really good and you really enjoy it a lot, but it just doesn't do it for you as much as you thought as you thought it would, or as it used to, and you sell it to chase something else. And at the end of the day, that might be what I do, but I have not fully decided yet. I might keep it because, again, it's really good. So jumping into materials, you guys can see that these are black titanium scales with a beautiful sort of slanted vertical pattern, milling pattern on it that feels awesome in the hand. I love it. Comes with a purple anodized pivot collar. Of course, you have a fuller on both sides as well as a front flipper. There is the TW Price design logo. Back here you have a milled titanium pot clip that works very well. It is landed right on a little landing area that allows for your pockets not to get shredded when you are going in and out of your pocket. I really like that little sort of subtle touch, but it's very nice. And again, you have the same milled titanium scales on this side as well. There is a cross section shot with a couple of standoffs back here. Comes with bearings, of course, and this is the first knife that I ever bought and put skiffs in. I don't know what made me do it. I just had the urge to, okay, this is like a nice knife, it's premium, and I have other knives around this price point, but for some reason I just felt like this knife in general needed skiffs. So I bought skiffs and put them in it, and I've been really impressed. I don't know if I can tell that much of a difference, but the side-to-side stability and the smoothness of the knife is very noticeable. Well, I don't want to say very noticeable, but at least noticeable enough to me to think like, okay, that was worth putting the skiffs in there. But the stock bearings that were in there worked well. The action was still pretty good. I can't really say too many bad things about those. I just wanted the upgrade to the skiffs. For internal milling, there are 2 pockets on the lock bar side, and there are 3 pockets on the show scale side. Very lightweight. I don't know the overall weight on this, the exact weight, but it is very lightweight. You do have an inset liner lock right there, which is cool. Of course, with a choil, you have a full DLC coated blade, sort of a spear / drop point style. Very simple, which I really like. And there's something else that I was wanting to talk about, but I'm not sure what it was. Blade length, I think, is at like 3.1 inches, something like that, right in that ballpark. And they also came out with, I think it was a full titanium build, so standard tie with a, I believe, satin or stonewash blade, and I think that also had a purple anodized pivot collar. They had I think it was a plain tie blade with the DLC, or excuse me, plain tie handle with the DLC coated blade and a purple anodized pivot collar, and they also had a blue anodized blade with, I think, a satin I can't talk today. A blue anodized scale set with a satin blade, which is really cool. And how I got this was on the pre-order. So the Dawn V1, which was not a liner lock, it was a frame lock, was a hit. There's a lot of different people that, you know, liked the knife and raved about it. So he came out with a V2 version of it. Tyler Price is, you know, TW Price. Tyler Price is the designer behind it. And everyone liked it so much that he came out with another run of them, V2 version with a liner lock. I wasn't able to get on the pre-order within the window of time that it was open. I was going back and forth on it, but ultimately at the time I did not pull the trigger on it. So eventually, you know, a little while passed and I was like, you know what, screw it. I really want that knife and I did not want to chance it. Actually, this is how I found out. I messaged Tyler on Instagram because I really wanted one and I was kind of pissed at myself for, excuse me, not getting on the pre-order. So I messaged him and was like, hey man, I missed the pre-order. Are you planning on doing a drop with whatever Dawns you have left over once you get the pre-order, once you get them all in and the pre-orders get sent out? And he was like, you know, yeah, we are planning on doing that, or I'm planning on doing that. But I do have a couple pre-order spots still available of the blacked out version. And this was probably not the one that I would want to choose. If I was choosing, I would definitely go with the blue because that blue looks really good with the satin. I think it's a satin. But all he had left was these black ones. And the more I looked at it and the more I kind of studied it on Instagram and watched videos of it, I was like, you know what, that looks really good. The more I look at it, I just said that like twice in 10 seconds. But the more I watched it, I really started to enjoy it and to like it. And I like the pivot accent with the purple. So I said, screw it, we're going to do it because I wanted guaranteed a knife. I didn't want to, you know, be working the day the drop happened and potentially miss out on one. So I went with the version on the pre-order. And it came in and I was very, very excited for it. And I think it's lived up to its expectations for the most part. But yeah, I kind of got sidetracked there because I kind of was talking about materials. Then I kind of went way off in the distance. So now we're going to talk about action. With that Fuller, that middle finger flick just flies right out of there. You guys can hear the detent is pretty snappy. And it's not a very heavy blade. It's, you know, pretty lightweight when all things are considered. But that Fuller, you just get a fantastic, whether you're down on the Fuller, down here as far as you can go, still flies out of there, or you are right up here close to the pivot, kind of in the corner of the Fuller, still flies right out of there. Thumb flick is not as intuitive as the middle finger flick, but you can still get it. I typically just kind of shove my thumb. My nose is really itchy today, and I apologize. It looks like I'm probably picking my nose. But I a lot of the times just put my thumb right up here into the corner of it, and it flies right out. You can index finger flick it. You can, again, middle finger flick it, which just works so well. And then you have the front flipper, which is also very, very easy to use. It comes up past the pivot, and you have plenty of room up there. Pops right out. There's a little bit better of a experience, or a little bit better of a vocal test. But the ergonomics on this knife, the acoustics on this knife are fantastic. Very snappy, very soundy. And you can also do kind of the detent is snappy enough but light enough to do that, which is cool. Kind of a cool little way of tossing in your fidgetability routine. And it's not like you can sit here and you can move it all day and it's not going to drop, like, well, slowly but surely. I guess it did drop, but it's definitely a shaker. It drops to your nail. Sometimes I do that when I don't get my thumb in there the whole way. But it drops to your nail. You guys can see it bounced right there. Yeah, bounced. And then it's one shake home. Or you can do it to your nail and then do some micro shakes home. But all in all, it's very smooth. And I think the skiffs definitely help that. I know they helped with the side-to-side stability of the knife. But I think, you know, all in all, it's very smooth. And it's really addicting. Once you get going with it and you flick it and you flick it again and you flip it and you index finger flick it and you middle finger flick it, it becomes kind of an addictive sensation, and it's very fun to fidget with. And I will give that 10 out of 10 on the fidgetability and the action on this knife. So next up, we are going to talk about ergos. Excuse me. I've been filming these reviews and I stupidly forgot water. So I know it's my fault, but this is the last one I have to do for today. So we're gonna chuck on through it. But ergos are fantastic. You have a pretty simple design up top here. It's pretty much a straight back with a little bit of tapered off here towards the end. Then you have a finger groove here, another 2 or 3 finger groove here, and then it tapers off towards the end as well. You also have a choil, but not using the choil, I can still get all 4 fingers on here very, very easily. It's very comfortable. I love the grip that the milled tie gives you. It just adds, you know, a phenomenal amount of grip on there. I love it. And you have a little bit of, it's kind of a, it's not a thumb ramp, but it's like just the beginning of a thumb ramp. So that feels really good too if you're kind of choked back, or you can put your thumb on here if you're gonna be doing some push cuts. And then when you choke up, your middle finger falls right here into the first thumb, or excuse me, finger groove, and then my pinky and ring finger fall into the second, and my pointer finger obviously goes into the choil area, and this feels really good as well. You can, you know, this thing just feels locked into your hand. You're really going to be able to do some precise cutting with this if you're doing some, you know, push cuts, if you're going to be doing some, you know, whittling maybe with this knife. I probably wouldn't, but I think it, you know, would. And I just realized, I think I forgot to mention the blade steel in this, and that's M390. You guys probably already knew that or could figure that out by now, but it was M390. It's not listed anywhere on the knife, but I just realized with the materials I forgot to mention that to you guys, so I apologize about that. But choked up feels really good. Choked back feels good. You know, you can be doing some reverse hammer grips. Siri, I do not want to talk to you today. You know, normal hammer grips, saber grips. All in all, like I have not found a bad way to handle this knife in a using situation. Just fantastic. It's, you know, it's pretty, it's not the thinnest knife. It has a little bit of chubbiness to it, but it feels just so good in the hand, and the scales are slightly contoured, so that just makes it that much better. But all in all, feels really good. Hot spot for the pot clip is non-existent. You know, it's a pretty flush pot clip. You don't really have too much, you know, coming out the back there. Can't feel it really at all when I'm choked back, and even choked up, still can't feel it at all. So that is a huge win. One thing you cannot do is flip the pot clip, so it's a righty only carry. But, you know, so all in all, ergos are good. Very, very comfortable. Love the milling on the scales. Love the simpleness of the knife, so the grip kind of follows suit and is very simple but usable and good. And that leads me to my next category of ergos. No, I just talked about ergos. Is carry. I'm all over the place today, guys. I really do apologize. But you have a milled titanium pot clip that doesn't go to the butt end of the knife. You have about this much sticking up out, but the clip works very, very well. It's in and out of pocket, very smooth. You have a landing pad down there that is smooth, that doesn't have the milling going across it, so it's not going to be shredding up your pocket, but it goes in and out of pocket very well. You have no flipper tab or jimping or anything that's going to be potentially pulling this knife up out of your pocket when you go down past it for change, chapstick, coins, anything like that, medicine. It's just going to sit flush. Very, very nice. It's slim. It's small. Not small, but smaller. It's pretty lightweight for what it is. And I think, like I said, the blade length is like 3.1 inches. So it's not a huge knife at all. It's definitely the medium side of things. But sits in your pocket. Pot clip works very, very well. Probably one of the better milled clips I've ever handled and I've ever used. It just goes in and out very, very well. I've carried this with jeans, I've carried this with khakis, and I've carried this with gym shorts. Carries well in all of them. You know, even with gym shorts around the house, it's still light enough that you're not going to be really, you know, noticing it be there that much. So yeah, no complaints at all with the carryability of the Dawn V2. Now, that takes me to my final category of price point and would I recommend this knife. Price point on these, I believe, was $310, and that was for the pre-order. I think he just did, maybe over the weekend actually, a drop of Dawn's. I will leave a link to his website down below if you guys are interested. I don't know if they're still for sale, but that'll be the best way to monitor Tyler and, you know, keep in touch with him and keep up to date on all his new, you know, Dawn versions and his new versions of knives as well, which he is coming out with a new flipper design, which I forget what the name is, but it looks pretty cool. But yeah, $310. I do think that's a fair price. You kind of, that's the market for this type of knife, you know, with the fuller, the front flipper, the milled titanium scales with that beautiful sort of cross section milling, that purple anodized pivot collar on both sides, then the milled titanium clip, M390. Just a fantastic ergonomic experience, and in addition to that, a good cutting experience. Nice and thin behind the edge. Very usable blade shape. This thing is going to be good for piercing and slicing. Fidgetability is just pretty much butter with this knife. All in all, I can't complain with this knife, so I can recommend it. But that leads me to the thing I was talking about earlier. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I might try to sell it and just, use that money for some newer knives and some scales or something like that. I'm eyeing up a Malibu from Blade Show, which was, it's like the gray handled with the DLC coated one. I really want a Malibu. I've wanted a Malibu for a very long time, so I might either try to trade or sell this for the Malibu. I'm not sure yet. I might just splurge on the Malibu and just, say screw it. Another knife purchase is another knife purchase, but at the end of the day, the Dawn V2 is a fantastic pocket knife. It's elegant and simple and clean and just a very good piece to have in anyone's collection. And that's why at the end of the day, I think I'm probably going to keep this, but we'll see. But Tyler, if you're watching this, you have a hell of a design here, and I can't wait to see what you design in the future. As for you guys, leave a comment down below. Do any of you have have a Dawn, whether it's a V1 or V2? If you do, let me know your I cannot talk today, guys. I'm sorry. Let me know your comments down below in the description. And as always, TW Price Designs will be linked in the description as well. I'm going to wrap this up, guys, because I'm starting to ramble. And you guys know how rambling Alex tends to get off topic. So I'm going to wrap this up. But I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, night, whenever you're watching this. And I always appreciate you guys. I forgot to say that before I just said the last thing. But I'm going to wrap this up because I'm getting off topic. Talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.